Hello, Last of Us fans. So the trailer for episode 5 of The Last of Us Season 1 is out, and I'm going to be breaking it apart into 3 separate sections, and I'm going to be going over each frame in detail as to what I think we're going to be seeing across this episode. So let's just get right into it, starting with the very first section.
Things have gone great. Haven't you heard? Kansas City is free.
So this is pretty much reiterating the information we got with episode 4, which we learned that Kathleen is the head leader of a militia group that overtook a Fedra-operated QZ zone in Kansas City, and now her and her right-hand man Perry, who's voiced by the same actor who did the voice acting for Tommy, Joel's brother, in the video game. Just a cool little detail I wanted to throw in there. But basically, they're ruling now with an iron fist, just like Fedra did, and the whole mission that she's on right now is that she's trying to find Henry, and to a lesser extent, his younger brother Sam. And Henry and Sam are the two characters that we saw at the end of episode 4 who were holding both Joel and Ellie at gunpoint. And we learn that Kathleen's brother was killed by Fedra officers after they got some information that Henry had to give up, presumably to save his own life, but at the cost of Kathleen's brother's life. So she's out for revenge right now. And that's basically the entire setup of episode 5, is that Kathleen and her mercenaries are going to be hunting down Henry and Sam, and because Joel and Ellie are with Henry and Sam, and Joel and Ellie are also the people who killed some of their men, then, they're going to be hunting down them as well.
Where is Henry? He told me to forgive. But where is the justice in that?
So right away, we see a lot of human-on-human violence, and I'm wondering, there's either two different options for this. The first one being is that maybe some of the citizens who are still in Kansas City have had enough of this militia's antics, and they realize, that they are just as bad, if not worse, than Fedra, and the citizens of Kansas City are maybe potentially standing up to this militia. Or the second possible option is just that, no, these are all members of the militia, and they're just all together, maybe looking for more captives that were a part of Henry and Sam's group, and they've now just captured these runaways basically, and they've tried to put them all together and lock them away somewhere, which, like we saw in the beginning part of the trailer where we saw Kathleen speaking to some people who were locked up. So this could potentially be the people who we saw at the beginning of the trailer who were locked up, some of the people who were rolling with Sam and Henry in a previous episode potentially that we just didn't get to see. But moving on from that, I think an interesting note here is something that we have known, but we're just seeing it here for the first time in a trailer, is that Henry is speaking to his brother Sam through sign language. So we know that Sam's character is going to be Death in the TV series adaptation. So that's going to be very interesting. I'm very curious to see if we're going to see this play out in any type of filmmaking way through the series. Where maybe we're going to get there's a lot of inventive things you can do with having a Death character in a post-apocalyptic setting like The Last of Us. It could make for a really interesting sequence with perhaps running into some clickers or infected. How does a Death person deal with that in this world? I mean, we do know that Sam is a child and he's probably completely dependent on his brother, but what further I want to say obstacles might come across the path of someone like that in the post-apocalyptic world of The Last of Us. So that's a curious thing. And then we're also going to be seeing, it looks like, for those of you who played the video games, it looks like we're going to be getting two very important action sequences that involve Joel and Ellie's travels with Sam and Henry in the video game. And the first one being here is that we see them entering into what is looking like potentially the underground portion of the city, like the sewers in the game. Maybe here it's just maybe not sewers, but it is still underground. I'm not sure, honestly, but I imagine, because we got the tease in at episode 4 that there is a bloater potentially underneath the streets, underneath the city, right? And it looks like it's wanting to break out. I'm wondering if while Joel, Ellie, Sam, and Henry are trying to avoid, trying to avoid the militia, that potentially while they're down there, not only do they run into some infected and stalkers and clickers, but maybe they're also going to come across that bloater that we see later on in the end of this trailer. Another thing too is that we get a shot here of Ellie and Sam, who are maybe spending a little bit of alone time here. Hopefully we get to see them just be kids for a moment. That's one of the best parts of the game, is when we just see Ellie and Sam getting to just bond and just be kids and not have to be, not have to always worrying every second of the day. Another thing that we see is that Joel has his sniper rifle here, and he looks like he's on top of a building. He has some type of high ground, just like Anakin, or just like Obi-Wan told Anakin. And In the game, there's a section where where Joel has to protect Sam, Henry, and Ellie while they're running away from not only some soldiers but some infected as well. And I'm curious if that's exactly the scene we're going to see here. Only it's going to be remixed, where it's going to be happening, during the nighttime, and there's a bloater that's going to be involved, as we're going to see in the next portion of the trailer.
It ends the way it ends.
So to cap off this trailer breakdown, we see that, the militia is pulling out all the stops to go after Sam, Henry, Joel, and Ellie, and it looks like there's a massive bus that's just like barreling through vehicles to try and get to them, as we see that Sam, Ellie, and Henry are all running away while Joel is seemingly providing cover with a sniper rifle from afar. But the curious things, the things I most want to talk about is this shot right here with Kathleen's character pointing a gun at someone away from Henry, though. We know that she's after Henry, so what would make her, when she has an opportunity to kill him, what would make her turn her back to him? Someone that she's actively hunting after and doesn't like and doesn't trust. I'm curious if, just the way the trailer is shot, as if it actually is maybe her first time encountering a bloater, and she's just like so shocked by this moment that's what gets her to take her eyes off of Henry, or could she be pointing it at someone else, or could something else be happening here? I think it seems unlikely. I don't think we're getting any like real trailer manipulation with this trailer, so I think we can probably trust that yeah, Kathleen's gonna come face to face with the bloater, and I honestly would not be shocked if the bloater you're seeing right here, that comes out of the ground, just completely destroys Kathleen's character. And that's how we, get to see the ending to her character and really get it, because we need a demonstration, right, of what a bloater can do. These are some of the most dangerous antagonists, villains that you can run into the game. So I think when, the first encounter, the first appearance of one in the show should be a massively big deal. And it should kill off another villain character, right? It's like, yeah, okay, Kathleen is a vicious, ruthless militia leader, but at the end of the day, she's just human, and this is a bloater, and, she's got no chance. So that could be potentially what we're gonna be seeing here, and that could be how Henry and Sam, find themselves, escape from the situation here. But yeah, overall, this looks like a really, really promising episode. And for those of you who have maybe wanted to see a little bit more action in the series, it looks like episode 5 is going to be action-packed and just jam-packed with, a bunch of fun sequences that are going to be remixed from these chapters of the game. So very exciting stuff. Let me know what you're thinking down in the comment section below. And as always, if you want us to be up to date on all the latest in the world in the Last of Us news, well, consider subscribing to Millennium Movies, because I'd love to have you along for the ride. But until next time, this has been Millennium Movies, and I will see you all very soon.